Hello everyone. We are exploring one of the best online tools for teaching and learning mathematics, that is GeoGebra, and you are watching part 3 of the basics of GeoGebra. In our previous two videos, we have learned the basic features of the GeoGebra software and the various options available under the first three tools of the GeoGebra Classic, that is the Move tool, the Point tool and the Line tool. In this video, we will explore the next three tools on the toolbar. Let me go back to the website of GeoGebra, which is geogebra.org. So this is the website for GeoGebra. I am already logged in, and as I had already told you earlier that this is the field where we will do all our projects and we will create anything from here. This is the GeoGebra Classic. So let's click on this. So the landing page of GeoGebra Classic has been opened, and as I have already mentioned that we have already learned about the first three tools. So in this video we will learn the next three tools on this toolbar, which is the perpendicular tool, the other is the polygon tool, and the next one is the circle tool. So first, to explore the perpendicular line, we have to know what is a perpendicular actually. So when we draw a line on another line with 90-degree angle, then the second line is said to be perpendicular on the first line. So for that we first have to create a line. So for that I click on this graphic window. Point A has been generated for us, and I can create the line on either of the directions. So let us say I want the line to be like this, and I click on here. So the next point, that is point B, has been generated and the line has been fixed. So this is my first line, which has been named as F. So now I want to draw a perpendicular on this line F. So for that, let me go to the perpendicular tool and select the perpendicular line. So for selecting this perpendicular line, if I click on this particular line, you see that another line which is actually the perpendicular line to this initial line F has been generated, and it is moving along with the movement of my cursor. So whenever I click on a particular position on which I actually want to put the perpendicular, I have to click on this, and you see that this perpendicular line, which has been named as G, has been fixed. It has been created on this line F. So this is the perpendicular line for this line F. So now coming to the next option under this perpendicular point is the parallel line. So to draw a parallel line, I have to click on this option, and here it is saying that select a point and a parallel line. So let us say we want to select this point A. So let us click on this point A, and I want to make a parallel line. I have got two options for making a parallel line over here. So this is the first option, F line, for which I can make a parallel line, or else I can make a parallel line to this line G. So on whichever line I click, suppose I click on this G, and at once you see that a parallel line has been generated called H, which is parallel to this line G. If I had chosen, let me go back to original position. So now again I select this parallel line. So this time say I want a parallel line to this line F. So if I click on this particular line F, you see parallel line to this line F has been generated. So now you can see that when I chose this line, then another parallel line has been generated for this line F. So this H parallel line has been generated for this line F. So now let me show you one property of this line, that I go back to the Move tool and select it, and say I click on any of the points this original line, and I move these lines So you are seeing that when I'm moving this particular point A, or moving this line F, so accordingly the line H is also moving, and you can see its property, that is the H line is still parallel to the line F. That means even if I am changing its position, I'm changing its direction, but its property of being parallel to the previous line is unchanged. I click on the point B and try to move it, and again similarly you can see both the lines are still parallel, its property doesn't change at all. So this way you can now go to the third option under this parallel tool, which is perpendicular bisector. So we had already created one perpendicular line. This G was created on this line F as a perpendicular, and now we want to create a perpendicular bisector. So if we click on this particular tool, and suppose we want to create a perpendicular bisector on this line F. So if I click on any of the points on this line, and say I select the point B, so accordingly you can see that this line I has been generated as the perpendicular bisector. Let me try to change the color so that so okay. So this is the parallel line. Let me go back to the standard view. So you can see now that this line is perpendicular bisector to the points A and B on this line F. Moving ahead, the next option under this perpendicular tool is angle bisector. But before proceeding, let me clear all the drawings that I have created so far, so that the page become clear to you all. So now we want to explore this angle bisector option. So for that let me try to add some angle. So let us say I want this point A, and let me try this segment. So let us say take this second point, and then I take a third point, and then I take this. I can also go to the polygon tool to explore this, but here also you will get to know what is the function of this angle bisector. So now if I click on this angle bisector, what will this show me? That for each of the angles of this triangle A, B and C, it will bisect the angles. So let us click on the point A, and as soon as I click on another point, say B, then you see that one line has been generated from the angle. That means this line will bisect the angle B. So this line will bisect the angle B on the opposite line. So if I click on one point on this opposite line, so let us click on C. So you see that the line has been made fixed, and this line has bisected the angle B into two equal positions. So in this way the angle bisector tool works. The next option is the tangent. So again let me clear the graphic window. So to understand the tangents for a circle, let me try to draw one circle from here. So this is a circle, and you have to select some points on this circle. So let me select some points. This was the original point. Let me draw some more points on this circle. And now if I click on this tangent line and I choose any of the points which is on the circle, and I click just outside the point, then you see that one tangent line has been created, which has been named as F for this particular point B on this circle. Then again for this point C, say I want a tangent line, so by clicking here you see that another tangent line has been generated, and accordingly for each of the points which is on the circle, one tangent line will be generated, which is designated by separate alphabets. So this is about the tangents. And the next options are polar or diameter line, then the best fit line, and the locus are not so important for the basic level. So here under this perpendicular tool, you just have to remember these options: the perpendicular line, the parallel line, the perpendicular bisector, angle bisector, and tangents to make effective teachings for mathematics. Next, let us explore the next tool, which is the polygon tool. So let me clear this window again, and now you see that under this polygon tool, what are the options available? We have the option for polygon, we have the option for regular polygon, we have the option for rigid polygon, and one option is there for vector polygon. So if we click on this polygon, we click here on this graphic window, one point is generated designated by A. Then I click on another point, one segment line has been generated. Then I click on point C. So if I wish to make it a triangle, I can go back to point A and a triangle will be generated, but I don't want to make it a triangle, so let me create another point D. Then again let's say I want to make it a pentagon, so after clicking on the fifth point, which is E, I again click on the point A, and you see that a pentagon has been generated like this. So again I want to show you something using the move tool. So if I click on any of the points over this pentagon and I drag it, you can see that the pentagon can be, that this particular point on the pentagon can be directed to any direction. You can move it, you can play with it. So similarly you can do it with other points as well. You can drag it, you can change its direction, you can change its size, so you can do anything with this move tool on this polygon. So the next option is a regular polygon. So when I click on this regular polygon option, so let me try to add another point on this graphic window, and similarly when I try to add the second point on this graphic window, this window appears and it is asking me to enter the verticals. That means how many verticals I want for this particular polygon. So if I want a pentagon, for example, I put 5, and you see a pentagon has been generated automatically. So similarly, let me clear this first. So similarly, if I want to create another polygon, so I click on this graphic window, and as soon as I click on the second point, dialog box appears which asks me for the number of particles. So this time say I put the number 8, so that means I want an octagon to be drawn over here. So you can see that octagon has been so now you see that an octagon has been generated like this. So similarly, using the move tool, you can increase or decrease the size, you can change its direction, you can pull any of the points. Let us now again explore what is the next option. This is the rigid polygon. So when I click on this rigid polygon, you see that this time I want to say create a triangle. So I join these three lines and I get a triangle ABC. So when I select this rigid polygon option, now what does this rigid polygon tool actually do? So when this particular tool is selected, then even if we select the move tool, we can only change the position of the object that we have created, or you can move it in either direction, but you cannot change the size of the object like you could do in case of regular polygon. So this is the function of rigid polygon. Hope you have understood. And then comes the next option called vector polygon. So if we choose the option vector polygon, so if I say click on one point which has been designated by D on this graphic window, then again I click on next point designated by E, then next point F, then next point G and H, and I make it a pentagon. But what does this do with this vector polygon option, that along with creation of the polygon that is pentagon, it will also create the vectors for this. So this way the vectors called D1, E1, F1, G1 and H1 has also been generated for this particular pentagon. So this is the function for vector polygon. That position. Now let us explore this next tool on this toolbar, which is called as the circle tool, and let's see what are the options available under this particular tool. So we have here circle with center throw point, then we have circle, center and radius, then we have a compass tool, we have circle through 3 points, then semicircle, then circular arc, then circumcircular arc, then circular sector, then circumcircular sector. So these are the options available that you can use with the help of this circular tool. So let's try to explore this. Let us explore this first option, that is circle with center throw point. So for that, if I choose this particular option and I click on this graphic window, so a point has been generated designated by A. So if I just draw my move my cursor holding the keypad, circle has automatically generated. So I can make it a circle of any size as per my wish, and wherever I stop clicking my keyboard, so the circle will be stopped at that position, and a next point will be created on this particular circle. So this is the option for circle through a particular point. Next, to explore this point, circle with center and radius. So if I click on this option, again I click one point on this graphic window, and as soon as I click on this, window appears which asks me to put the radius. That means what size, what radius actually I want to create this circle. So for example, let me type say 3.5. I want a circle of 3.5 radius. So as soon as I click on this, you can see that a circle has been created with this point on this circle. Then you will find that the radius is 3.5 centimeter. So let me go back with this back tool to clear this window, and so now let us explore the third option, that is the compass option. And to use this compass option, actually we will be needing 2 points on this graphic window. So let me first draw 2 points, any 2 points on this graphic window. Say I have put one point A, and say I have put this point B on this graphic window. And now if I choose this compass option and I click on point A first and then on point B, then you will see that a circle has automatically generated with point B as the center of this particular circle. So this is the function of the compass tool that you have seen. Then the next option is circle through 3 points. If I click on this particular option, we'll be again actually needing 3 points. So let us click for one point, which is C, then clicking on the next point, which is D, and if I just move my cursor to any of the directions, you can see that a circle is being generated of any size. So I can make it of my choice of which size actually I want to make this circle. So I can put the next, that is the third point, anywhere on this circle. It is already there, so whenever I click on a particular point, so this circle has been fixed now, and it has been named as circle D. Okay, so and about this window, I have already mentioned that whatever we do on this graphic window, graphic area, it is displayed on this particular algebraic window, algebraic view. Okay, so now moving ahead, the next option we have under this particular circle tool is semicircle. So let me clear whatever I have done earlier with this back tool, and now I click on this semicircle option, and let me put one point over here. And if I put the next point, if I just move my cursor to any of the directions, you can see that a semicircle has been created. So I can put the next point anywhere I wish to. So let us say that I want my next point B to be here. So like this, a semicircle has been created with the help of this particular tool. The next option we have under this circle tool is the circular arc. For that we'll be needing 2 points, and we have to select one center point for this. So for example, say I have selected one point A and then B, then you can see that whenever I am moving my cursor, so circular arc has been created having A as the center point for this arc. So A was the initial point, so A becomes the center point for this arc. So circular arc is created with this, and if I click on any other point, though the circular arc has been fixed in that particular direction. Then the next option is circumcircular arc. So for this again we say select one point D, then select the second point E, and if I again draw move my cursor, so now you can see that this particular arc has been generated passing through both these points, and it will end up on the third point you choose as per your wish. So this is all about the circumcircular arc. Then comes the circular sector. So if we choose this option, let's say we take one point G on this graphic window, we take another point H, and whenever I just move my cursor for the third point, and I just click on anywhere to get my third point, then you get to see that a sector of a circle has been created with the help of this particular option. The next option is circumcircular sector. So if I click on this option, and again I just put one point on this graphic window, and I put the second point, and now whenever I just move my cursor, you see that a circumcircular sector has been generated of a particular circle. So this way you can make a circumcircular sector. In our next video, we will explore some more tools of this amazing software for mathematics. So stay tuned, and if you haven't subscribed to our channel Infobits yet, please subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon for more updates.